YouTube, what's up? The answer is my dick, now that you're here. It's a good joke, isn't it? We got jokes for days. I'm Mark Nestico, aka Casper the Friendly Gamer, Southwest Florida Gamers. And what I'm bringing to you is another pickup video. This one, probably my best haul that I've ever had. I think I'm setting the stage for something grand, and I hope you enjoy hearing all about it. But this week, I decided, since I had a bunch of free time on my hands, due to being hospitalized for a kidney issue, that I was going to channel the free time that I had game hunting. So I decided on Thursday, after I'd spent 2 days sitting at home and then being in the hospital and all that good stuff and being pumped up on all sorts of medication, that I was going to go, out for about an hour, hour and a half to just see if I could pick up some games for cheap. That's what I do. And I had a pretty decent sized score on Thursday. So I head over to this pawn shop that a friend of ours told me is a honey hole for some of the rare games that he's had in his collection. He said recently it's been pretty shitty, but you can still get some okay things there. So I decided to try my luck. I went in and just started talking to the guy. I saw his, whatever they had for Super Nintendo, Nintendo, PlayStation, all that good stuff. I found 2 games and he offered them to me for $1 each. So I couldn't really say no to that. First game is a PS1 copy of Shadow Man, complete. Open, yeah. Except the only part is that I hate when kids used to do this when they would cut off the manual for the front. So it's halfway complete, but the disc is in good shape. And I always remember playing this game when I was a kid. It was pretty sweet, so happy to have it. The other one for $1 was a great score, and that is a complete in-box copy of Resident Evil. And the manual's back here somewhere hiding from you. But, for $2, this was a pretty sweet way to start off my day. So I decided to head over to a pawn shop that's like just about a mile away from the one that I was just at. And they had a couple games there too. The one of them I can't show you. It's a copy of Smash Brothers Brawl on the Wii. I already traded it. But the other one that I got was a copy of Castlevania for the DS. Order of the, I can't even pronounce that. It's something like that. But also complete. Also hard to open. I'm weak because of all the medication. Get off my ass. But hey, this Castlevania game looks pretty cool. And most Castlevania games are not bad. So I'm kind of buffing up my DS collection a little bit because it's something to do when you're on the potty. So afterwards, I headed around to a few other little Goodwills and pawn shops. I didn't really find anything. And then I went to a place that it's not like a Salvation Army. It's not a Goodwill. It's just a family thrift store. And I haven't really heard if they're good or bad. Nobody that I really know has gone there. So I checked, the CDs and the DVDs like I usually do. I didn't find anything crazy. Saw a couple computer games sitting up on a shelf, so I was like, hey, maybe I can go see what's there. So I went and checked it out, and they had some PS1 games, and a few of them were meh, but a few of them were actually very, very good. So the first one, and these are all complete, is a copy of Siphon Filter, greatest hits. Copy of Frogger, also greatest hits. But like I said, they're all complete, which is really neat. And a copy of Midway Presents Arcade Greatest Hits. And I like picking these up, actually. It's pretty sweet. It's got, Super Breakout on it, so some kind of cool games. Then we get into the better ones. This one is a survival horror game. I heard it was actually really, really good. Very, very underrated. That's Martian Gothic. Again, complete. All in good shape, except for one of them, but, I can deal with that given how expensive it is. We also got a copy of Medieval 2, which is super, super sweet because I remember the first one being awesome. Really tongue-in-cheek, lots of fun, mild comedic violence and all that good stuff. But, this one a little bit pricier, a little bit rare, a little bit harder to find on the PS1. And then the last one, very good game, very expensive on the PS1. The jewel case has got a few cracks in it, but believe me, I'm not going to fucking complain. And that's a copy of Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter. This is just a sweet, sweet fighting game. Great, great memories from my childhood playing this game in the arcades. And, it's complete. It's got the manual, and the disc is in good shape, and that's all that really matters to me. I went up to the counter, and the lady was very, very nice, and she asked me about my video game hobby and said that they get stuff in quite consistently, and that there's this one really, really snobbish jerk guy that usually comes in and buys it. And she asked me for my phone number, so I gave it to her, and she said that they're going to start calling me from now on whenever video games come in. Take that, bro. But all of these were $1 a piece, so $6. And was able to snag these for $6 total. The Castlevania and the Smash Brothers for $5 total. So he gave me a 2 for $5 on them, and then these for $2. So you're looking at spending like $13 or something like that, and getting some really, really quality titles. So my Thursday was great. I had something big planned for Friday, but I'm going to do that last. I'm going to save the best for last, because there's some really, really, really sweet things that I want to show you, but I feel like I don't want to blow my load all at once and ruin all the fun that I can have with you in a little bit, because there's some really cool stuff coming up. So anyhow, on Friday I did the big garage sale that you'll hear about soon. And on Saturday, fellow Southwest Florida gamer, the Flying Dutchman, John, and I decided we were going to go hit up some community sales and a couple garage sales and some flea markets and kind of make a day of it. So he gets over the house, before we leave I check the mail and I find a game in the mail that I had won an auction on eBay. I just threw out like a $20 bid on a game. It's usually more expensive than that. I've seen it go around 20, but as high as like 30. So I just put down 20 on it. It was free shipping and it has, the fast and free function on it. So I was like, if I don't win it, I don't win it. It still had like a day on it, so I figured like there's no chance I'm going to win it anyway. But it turns out I did, and I really love the first one, and I'm happy to have the second one, and that is a copy of Super Adventure Island 2. So very neat. Kind of like a unexpected gift. I don't usually like to spend that much money on games, but when I see one that I know that I really want, I'm not opposed to spending $20 on it. And that one was a really sweet one to get. I really, really love Master Higgins. He's a badass. And, I think it came out to $17. I put down a $20 bid and I got it for 17. So, not going to complain about that. So we venture outward and, as we're driving there, I'm basically telling him, like, if I get anything today, I am a lucky son of a bitch, because after what I got on Friday, and we're going to get to that, I didn't deserve to find anything over the next couple days. That's how lucky I was. That's how awesome the find is, you're going to see. But we ended up going into the Ortiz Flea Market first, and I found a couple of things. Well, actually, I think I only found one thing in Ortiz. Yep, only one thing. But it's the same damn thing. Complete in-box copy of John Madden Football for $3. The same dude that I found the NBA Live game off of Complete in-box had this sitting on the table as well. This guy is he's a reseller. His prices are insane, but occasionally I catch him, with something, and the game is in good shape. It comes with the little dust protector, so I'm never opposed to having more of these. And it's a complete in-box SNES game, so for what I paid for it, $3, not gonna whine about it. But yeah, not much. So we decided we're going to head out to Flea Masters after not having any luck whatsoever at Ortiz. There's no vendors there. Our flea markets on Saturday usually suck, but we pretty much were in desperation mode. We went and hit 3 community sales at 7 a.m. onward until about 11. We hit probably between 60 and 70 houses. 0 of them had video games. There was one guy who wanted $80 for an Xbox One and like 3 shovelware titles. And there was a guy that told us that earlier on he had sold a couple Wii games, like for kids, like Fling Smash, like garbage. So we were pretty discouraged, so that's why we were kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel. So we head on over to the Flea Masters, and we hit a garage sale on the way there. I got something kind of neat. I'll show you that. They had a box of video games for like a couple PS1 and PS2 titles. They had them all individually marked with prices. They were in a very obscure area, and I'm 99% sure there was nobody else that went to this garage sale except for us. So I held the 2 games up and I said, hey, how much? And they said, oh, $1 each is fine. So I got a complete copy of the Atari Anniversary Edition Redux. And, not a rare one, but definitely a cool one to have. Sonic Mega Collection Plus on the PS2. And then it's complete. Whee! Comes with all the little bells and whistles. For $2. At this point we were so like disillusioned by 70 houses, like not even exaggerating, 70 fucking houses, like just get absolutely nothing. So we head over to Flea Masters, and there's not really much going on there. Again, Saturdays are dead for our flea markets. There was one guy on the garage sale alley who had some PS2 games. I asked him how much. He said, $5 for both of them. So I was going to turn them down. One of them looked kind of cool. It was Mojo. I know it's a garbage game, not really worth much, like $1 or $2, but I like puzzle games and it looked kind of cool. So I picked it up for $250. And the other one is definitely much more worth it, and that's Star Wars Battlefront 2. This is a game I had so much fun with when I was younger. Whenever it first came out, I remember my best friend at the time, Sam, and I, we would just sit and play this game for hours and hours and hours. Always had a blast playing it. I sold it a long time ago, and now I got it back. So happy to have this one. And afterwards, we went over, we checked out a couple reseller booths. One of them is he's fucking insane. He lies about everything. He's the Silver Duck Hunt guy. He's the guy that told us he has a copy of a Silver Duck Hunt. He has Earthbound sealed in the box, like all this crazy bullshit. He has a copy of Demon's Crest, and I told him, I'm like, listen, man, like I want this copy of Demon's Crest. I'll give you $70 for it right now. On eBay, it goes for $80. You know, I even showed him. eBay, it goes for $80, but then after you pay eBay fees and PayPal fees and shipping, you're going to get less than $70. I'll give you $70 right now. He looks me dead in the eye and he says, well, what if I get the box for it? Then it's going to be worth like way more. And I'm like, that's if you get the box for a very hard to find game anyway. I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen. Oh yeah, it could totally happen. So you're not going to take $70 for this game that's worth $80, but then minus all those fees. No. Okay. Fuck you then. So we walk away. I'm just like in shock that this guy turned me down. Like, even if the game goes for 90 on eBay, even if it goes for 100 on eBay, that's eBay. Like, you're a flea market, you know, and somebody's offering you $70 for a game that you have bragged about for buying for $1. You're in like the 1,000% for profit, but you say no anyway. He's just an idiot. There's no dealing with this guy. Absolute like joke of human being. But anywho, we go over to another reseller booth. This guy, I picked up a few games from the last couple weeks because he's had his Sega Genesis collection on sale for half off. So I've gotten some good prices on a couple of the games that he had that I wanted. One of them being Dungeons and Dragons on the Genesis for a very, very good price. So I went up to him and I'm just like, at this point, like I'm so full of piss and vinegar because of the last jack off. I was like joking with him. I'm like, hey man, when are you gonna do like half off on your Super Nintendo games like you do on the Genesis ones? And he looks at me, he's like, you never asked. And now I feel like a dick because this is like a guy, we always look at his prices and we're always like, man, this guy's prices suck. Fuck this shit. I hate resellers, blah, blah, blah. And we go up to him and I'm just like, hey, would you cut deals? He's like, yeah, I would cut deals. And now I'm a fucking douchebag. I am the douchebag idiot now. And I ask him, well, will you cut me a couple deals on some games that you have that I want? He's like, yeah, I will. So I point out 2 games that I want in his Super Nintendo case, and he's like, do them both for $15. And I'm like, deal. Like, in a heartbeat, deal. First one, great shoot 'em up, UN Squadron. It's in actually good shape. I just gotta like clean this part right here, but other than that, label's in pretty nice condition. And the other one is Mario Early Years, Fun with Letters. Oh yeah. These are, they're not the most expensive games, but for $15, UN Squadron goes for that much usually on eBay anyway. So I was happy to do that and to maybe build a relationship with this guy because he does have a lot of really cool stuff. And now that I know he wants to make deals, I think it's a lot easier to approach him. So he starts telling us, he's like, I've got all this Sega Genesis shit. I'm getting rid of all of it. I don't even want it anymore. So if you guys see anything over there you want, let me know. I'll cut you some deals on that too. And he's got some good games over there. I actually went back there today to see him, but it's Super Bowl Sunday. He wasn't set up, so I'll go back next week and see if I can maybe buy out most of his Genesis stuff that he has for real cheap. But, he's like, do you see any games on the Genesis you want? He goes, I'll cut you some deals on those too. So I see 2 games that I actually do want right off the bat. First one being Decaf Attack. I heard it was just a lot of fun, so I figured I'd, buy in on it. And the other one is a complete in-box copy of Super Thunderblade. Beautiful, beautiful shape. You can see the gloss from the lights. Really, really nice. He goes, just do both for 10 and you're good. So I'm like, sure. So I'm happy to hand this guy $25 for, a couple good Super Nintendo titles. One of them childish, but hey, whatever. And then 2 good Genesis titles. So I feel good about this. And now I think we've maybe started a relationship with this guy. So next time I go in there, I'm going to, try to buy out some more Genesis stuff. But at this point, we still got some hours in the day. We're like, let's do it. Let's go to Mario World. And for those of you that haven't watched my videos before or haven't heard anything else about these people, they are the absolute worst of the worst resellers. They are the people that get bitched about. They're the ones that give resellers a bad name. They are absolute scum, like the scummiest of the scum. They are just huge, huge douchebags. Like, I remember bringing in some games to trade into them, like coincidentally a copy of like Wind Waker and whatnot, and it's some expensive stuff, and they were like $5 for all of it, and I'm like, what? Like, no, like that's not gonna happen. So they're just, you know, when I first started collecting games, I went in there and I saw Kirby Avalanche, and I was like, oh, how much for that? $40 for Kirby Avalanche. And I even showed them on eBay. I'm like, completed listings, like it goes for $6 to $7. And she's like, no, I know what I paid for it. I'm not lowering the price on it. It's $40. I bought Kirby Avalanche in front of them on eBay. I'm like, yep. Like, fuck you. Take that, asshole. But anyhow, like, this was months and months ago, and I'm sure they already forgot about me and whatnot. So we went back in there because I've got balls of steel. And my friend John and I started looking at the games, and when they price games, I don't think they look at what complete in box goes for. I think they just look at cartridge, sorry. And see a copy of Wardner for the Genesis, complete, great shape for $20. And I mean, it's a much harder to find game. Price Charting has it complete going at about $30, but we've seen auctions going for like $50, $60, $80 on eBay, and complete auctions. So at this point, we're like, you know, this is going to be a good grab. So he gets that one, and I start eyeing. They have a big section of box Super Nintendo games. It's a lot of crap, but there's a couple good games sprinkled in there. And I see one game up there, and I'm like, you know, I'm just going to take a shot and wonder how much it is. So I say, hey, can you pull that one down? And she hands it to me, and it's at $45. And I say, well, would you do $35 on it? And she's like, okay, sure. And it is a complete in box copy of RoboTrek. The cartridge itself goes for that much usually, and it came with the map, which is very hard to find, and the whole thing is just in really nice shape. Here's, as you can see, the informational RoboTrek poster, manual, and the game, which is in beautiful condition. I had a copy of this myself, but this one was in much better shape, so I actually just traded the other one that I had. But, you know, now I've got a complete in box, and this is a hard-to-find game, complete in box. So score one for the good guys. Take that, reseller scum. Just can't deal with those people, but, hey, whenever I can fuck them like this, take it. So that was a huge score for Saturday. So I'm already, like, stoked. I had a great Thursday that I just told you about, a Friday like you're not going to believe in a few moments, and then, you know, the Saturday ended on a really nice note, getting that RoboTrek. We went to our friend Jason's house afterwards. He is 8-Bit Hall of Fame. He's also on Southwest Florida Gamers. He's opened up his own store. He is an amazing reseller. He's the kind that cuts deals, gives breaks, gives you good trade-in, takes care of his customers. And, you know, I was going to list a whole bunch of stuff on eBay. I probably would have made a fair bit more, but instead of that, I decided to sell it to him. And, you know, I took a hit on it, but the reason I did it is because I want his store to be successful, because he's a great guy. He's super nice. He's funny. He's very, you know, kind, and he hooks up deals. You know, he is going to give us, you know, first crack at his stuff whenever his store opens. Just a great all-around guy. Can't say enough good things about him. Check him out on Facebook, 8-Bit Hall of Fame. I'm sure if you contact him as well and you see something that he has that you want, he could probably work out a deal with you. Great guy, great prices, can't beat it. That's the kind of reseller you want to have in your area. But anyhow, so we go to him. You know, I make a sale and load up some money for the next day. So I go out today, which is Sunday, and I pick up a few things as well. I head over to Ortiz, which is now just bumping. There's tons of people there. It's like night and day from Saturday to Sunday. And I head over to our $6 game guy. He sells every game he has for $6. PS1, PS2, Sega, Super Nintendo, regular Nintendo, everything $6. It's been cherry-picked pretty heavily, so it's not like you're going to get like insane deals, but in the last couple of weeks, he brought in a bunch of Genesis stuff that he never brought before. He's the one that I got the copy of Wardner off of for $6. He had a couple titles that I wanted, first being the Genesis complete in box copy of Aladdin. Great shape, manual. You know, I like it more on the Genesis than I do on the SNES. The music is better, and you get a sword instead of throwing apples. Fuck the haters. And then a complete copy of Mortal Kombat with all the literature and stuff like that, also in good shape. So $6 each for these, you know, $12, not a big deal. Yeah, the Mortal Kombat alone goes for that much. So happy to have it. So I head over to another reseller kind of person. They always have the same games out every week though, and occasionally they'll bring a new one out and I'll buy it, you know, for really cheap. But they had a big Tupperware container underneath their table today, and it had some stuff in it that I hadn't seen. So I asked, I said, how much for the games? The guy goes, 2 for $5. It's 2 for $5. So I'm like, okay. So the first one that I grab is a copy of Hurdy Gurdy. I heard this is like a big sleeper on the PS2. Complete. Disc is in great shape. Looks really cool. I love these kind of like quirky off the wall PS2 games. It's not expensive. It's not worth much at all. But I was still thinking it looked really, really cool, and that's what gaming is all about. Obviously, is just playing and having a great time. The other game, though, I already have a copy of this, but it's going to go up for trades. Is a complete copy of Pokemon Stadium. This one is in perfect condition. I'm probably going to actually use this one and switch out the other copy that I have. But it's really, really nice. 2 for $5 on that. Can't beat that. Take it all day. So afterwards, I head over to another table. This woman's got a line of video games, and she said each game is $5. And I see this game sitting out there, and that's Wind Waker. It doesn't have the manual, but it does have the advanced literature here. The disc is in really nice shape. And I say, oh, is this for $5? And she goes, no, that actually goes in conjunction with the GameCube. And I said, well, how much is the GameCube? She said, the GameCube is going to be $25. So I actually needed a GameCube. The one that I have wasn't working very well. So I picked this up. Came with a matching Platinum controller, all the hookups, and I got that in Wind Waker for $25, which I already have my copy of this, so I'm going to get rid of this for probably $25 and just free roll this GameCube. And I'll be happy with it, So overall, we're doing great. I head over to the Flea Masters. I see a reseller friend of ours. He is another one that you want to deal with. He's got great prices. He'll make deals with you. He takes good trade-in. He deals in making money instead of just exuberant prices. So he hooked me up with it's $1, a copy of In the Zone by Konami. Long box, though. I'm actually trying to complete a long box collection. I want to get every long box PS1 game that's out there. There are some really expensive ones, but I think that that's kind of like what I want to do. PlayStation 1, aside from the Super Nintendo, is my favorite system of all time. So was happy to get that, especially for $1. It's nothing. And afterwards, for $1, I walked around, and there is this, it's called The Barn, just this big barn, and there was a guy that I've never seen there, and he was selling some video games. All the games were just really, really bad, but he said, they're each $1. I was pondering buying a couple of them. One of them, though, that was sitting on the table for $1 is going to be this, and that's Zelda Spirit Tracks. So for $1 for the DS, which I'm actually trying to collect for, I could not say no to this, and instantly just snap bought it. That was probably, aside from the Pokemon Coliseum, the best find that I had all day. Easily a $25 to $30 DS game still, and just snap that sucker off. So that was my Saturday. So my weekend, not too shabby. Lots of good grabs, box Robo-Trek, extra trade stuff. Couldn't beat it with a stick. My Friday kicks the shit out of it. So I'm kind of hesitant to go to this garage sale. It's in about an hour drive away. It was advertising legacy video games. It's in a little town called Punta Gorda, which it's kind of podunk. It's, I don't know why. I just had a good feeling about this garage sale, and I decided, I'm gonna go to it. I'm gonna make the hour drive, even though I probably shouldn't have because I was on medication. I still went, and I got there. The sale was advertised starting at 8. But it was kind of raining outside, so I got out of my car at about like 7:30, and I went knocking on the door, and I was like, hey, I just wanted to know if you were still having the sale. It's raining outside pretty bad, and I just wanted to know if I should either stay or head home. It was a very, very nice older lady, probably in her like 50s, maybe 60s, and she's like, oh, no, I'll open the garage for you right now. You can start buying right now if you want to. And I'm like, deal. So I head over to her garage, and I just see stuff. And it's great stuff, and it's really, really, really good stuff. And I start picking up a few things. One of them I pick up immediately, and another woman who I recognize, she is one of those eBay resellers with the scanner, and she is just very rude and whatnot. Every sale I've ever gone to, she's just extremely rude and mean and whatnot. And she always tries to like, you know, price hawk the person and like beat them up until they, you know, she's just not a cool person. But like if somebody wants something that's too much money, I just don't buy it. And if I can haggle them and they're cool with it, then I do. But if I'm like, hey, 5 on this instead of 10, and they're like, no, I'm like, okay, no problem, sorry. I'm not like, oh, seriously, come on, you're not going to sell this, so why don't we do? Like that's the kind of person she is. So at this point now, I'm getting kind of nervous because I've seen her once at another sale point out how much something was worth to the person that was trying to buy it because she was pissed off that she didn't get it. So I can't remember. It was like a picture or something like that. I remember her yelling at the salesman, you know, you could probably get like $60 or $70 for that on eBay. I don't know why you're selling it for $5. You know, obviously to be a dick. And I started to get nervous, and I'm like, oh shit, time to start cashing into my chips. So I did miss one really expensive game. Every game this woman sold was $5. And the thing that's funny about it is she knew exactly how much the games were worth. She had a giant pad with all of the games written down on them and all the games, how much they were worth, but she still had them in the $5 bins. One of them that I got was $10, but all the N64 games I got were $2, so it all pretty much balanced itself out. So this woman was super cool. I talked to her for like 10 minutes about video gaming and how it's, you know, I've been collecting now and it's a huge passion of mine and how much I love it. So she was happy to sell me these games for an incredible price. First, we have a complete box copy of Mortal Kombat 2. And by the way, these were hers. She's like, oh, I've been playing them for years. They're in great shape, beautiful, beautiful condition. Every time I opened up a box, it had her handwriting in like codes or, you know, like maps drawn of dungeons. It was like the cutest thing ever. So first off, complete box copy of Mortal Kombat 2. Next off, complete box copy of Star Trek The Next Generation. Complete box copy Street Fighter 2 Turbo. This one not so cool, but hey, it's complete in box and I'm not going to complain. Caesar's Palace. One game that you're not going to see, she had a complete in-box copy of Joust on the NES. I already traded that to Matt of Southwest 40 Gamers because he loves boxed games, especially for the Nintendo. So I hooked him up with a really good deal for it because I love Matt and I want him to have nice things. More Super Nintendo stuff. Star Trek Starfleet Academy. Troy Aikman Football. She said this was the one she tried to get her husband into games, so she bought some sport games. Stargate the movie, which actually looked kind of cool when I YouTubed it. And then, funny enough, this game is like worth $10, and I never would have suspected. But it's Basson's Black Bass. Yep, sounds good to me. We're saving this one, and here we go. Another SNES game, copy of Jeopardy. In case I feel like having a quiz show at my house. This is a stand-in for a game that I already traded the Dutchman. John has been wanting this game forever. He just never wants to spend the money for it, like the $30, $35 it's worth. And just last week I told him, I was like, John, I'm going to fucking find you this game. I'm going to find this game for you, and I'm going to give it to you. And he's like, oh, okay, you know, like we joked about it. Yeah, I found it. She had it at the garage sale. It was Contra 3. Boom. Got it. This is my copy, actually. This is the stand-in, but I'm using it just to show you. But, yeah, copy of Contra 3. Boom. Headshot. So I hooked the Dutchman up with it yesterday, but I still wanted to have a copy to show you guys. Then we'll get to some N64 stuff. A copy of Doom 64. These were all $2 a piece. Perfect Dark. Quake. Turok. And Donkey Kong 64. So some pretty decent titles for the N64. I didn't have any of these except for Donkey Kong 64, so I traded that one out already. This is another stand-in for you. But then I looked in her Genesis box. She didn't really have anything good for the Genesis, and the games that she had I already had, except for one, which is a kind of rare, kind of expensive game, kind of difficult to come across, especially in the wild, and that is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Hyperstone Heist. So this was like, boom. And what's funny is we were talking about it the night before, and then boom, this just happened to be there, chilling. Then we got some PS1 games. First being Parasite Eve, the first one. It does have a crack in the back of it right here. You can see that very well. But it is complete, and the discs are in pristine condition. Resident Evil 3. This was the, I believe, the original launch version that came with a Dino Crisis demo disc, which is also, if I can figure this out, yeah, there we go, also in there. So, came with the demo disc, and the game itself is in beautiful, beautiful shape. This is one of my favorite PS1 titles. I got it down to where I could beat this game in an hour and a half, because I was a badass when I was a kid. And absolutely thrilled to have this one, because it's another one that I just lost over the years and whatnot. A copy of Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey. Really fun one. The Oddworld games are also always just awesome. And then Bushido Blade 2, fighting game, also complete. Kind of cool. Jewel case is a little broken, so I have to get a new one for that to fix it. The other PS1 games that she had for $5, a copy of D, long box, hard to find, expensive for a long box game. Let's see if I can crack this bitch open. All 3 discs, all of them in really nice shape, manual. So happy to have this. Heard this game is really, really, really good. So I'm definitely going to be playing this game very, very soon. As soon as I beat Castlevania 4. And then another good long box title that I was happy to get was Doom. And again, complete. Also trying to escape. All of her games were in beautiful condition. That's what's so cool about adult-owned games. Then we get to Wii. I just got one game offer. I wanted to try it. I heard it was kind of cool. Second Opinion, Trauma Center. Heard it was cool. You know, probably not. Then we get to GameCube. A copy of Mario Golf. Copy of Final Fantasy Chronicles. Copy of Spyro Enter the Dragonfly. I believe this is the only one that was not complete. Copy of Resident Evil 4. Player's choice, but I'm not going to admit, I don't care. Also, one of my favorite games on the PS2. I've never played on the GameCube, so I'm excited. Kind of hard to find one. Eternal Darkness. This one, unfortunately, no manual. I got to find the manual for it, but also, game in great shape. And heard this was awesome, so I'm really, really excited to use my new GameCube to play this bad boy. A PS2 title that I heard was kind of sweet, and that's Giants Citizen Kabuto. Heard it's just like kind of cool, lots of really interesting shit about it. No manual, but this game is like a $5 game, so I'm not really concerned about completing it. One GameCube game, it's in beautiful shape, kind of expensive, and that's Legend of Zelda: The Twilight Princess, the black box variant, and just gorgeous. The last game, it's a big one, $5, Super Nintendo. Hard to come by. Expensive, again. Earthbound. I got my copy of Earthbound. All these games, except for the N64 games, were $5 a piece. Twilight Princess, she wanted $10 for. She gave me all this for $130. And she knew what the prices were, too. That's the best part about it. It was very nice dealing with this lady. She was an absolute sweetheart. And the game that I did miss because the reseller was breathing down my neck was, I believe it's Suikoden 2 for the PS2 complete. You know, it's like a $135 game. I hope she gave, that woman gave that reseller woman hell. I left before I got to watch it happen, but she was such an absolute doll and couldn't have been nicer. And like I said, had everything written down like new, but I guess she liked me and wanted to pass these games on to somebody that she knew would take good care of them and give them a good home. And they're going to get a good home with me, especially Earthbound. Very cool. It's, you know, one of the centerpieces of my collection now. I've only been doing this for about 4.5 months now, but you know, I've got my trophy. But yeah, those were my pickups for the week. I don't know how much more I'm going to be doing this week. I'm going back to work finally. My kidneys are doing a little bit better. So I don't know how much I'll be hunting this week, but there's a good chance we might try to do something, on Sunday or whatnot. But yeah, that's it, guys. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And check out our page on Southwest 40 Gamers. It's on Facebook. I'll give you a little link at the bottom. But yeah, other than that, thanks for watching again. And you're going to see my arm come by because I'm going to turn off the camera now. So have a good night. Bye. Where are you, button? Found you.